So we've got HBomberGuy here, clearly commenting on a book he hasn't read. He's got a screen cap of me from my video, and then he's gone and found this. And I don't know where this is from. He doesn't provide a source, but it doesn't refute anything I said in the video or anything Peikoff said either. The most obvious problem for Peikoff is that Kant was not a Nazi or even a proto-Nazi. He never said he was. He absolutely never even implied Kant or even Hegel was a Nazi either. What he was talking about is how these ideological worldviews proposed by these people set the stage for the Nazis to create their own, in opposition to the Aristotelian thread that he also charts that ended up with classical liberal. But I love this. Kant's political views were generally of the classical liberal variety. That's not something you can reasonably say. I mean, that's totally anachronistic. Kant preceded them by about a century. And even then, I don't even agree. But the second formulation of the categorical imperative, which Peikoff never quotes in his lengthy discussion of Kant's ethics, because it isn't really that important. He's not questioning the categorical imperative, or Kant's formulation of it. What he's saying is that Kant was attacking reason, and he thinks it was in defense of religion. I don't even know if I agree with that. Honestly, I'm not as au fait with Kant as I should be to answer that. Could be wrong, could be right. But again, that really doesn't change anything that he'd actually said, because he was describing Nazi ethics and morality, and he's right that they are racial subjectivists. I mean, he gives all the citations from the Nazis themselves, which I read out in the video, and some of them anyway. There are loads in there. And just quoting directly from the Nazis, word for word, about what they believe and why they believe it. He's not wrong on his description of Nazi philosophy. So why his description of Kant is important, I don't know. I mean, he's not even giving like a normative worldview here. He's just telling you what the Nazis believed. And the fact that the Nazis believed in what they believed, and I put in the other video, is enough on its own. Even if he's wrong about Kant and the jump from Kant to Hegel, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that he's right about describing what the Nazis believe. But anyway, apparently it's rather un-Nazi sounding, so fucking what? He never said Kant was a Nazi. Where has he got this from? Kant seems particularly ill-suited as the intellectual godfather of Adolf Hitler. He never, ever said he was the intellectual godfather of Hitler. Fucking ice cream van. He said that he was one step on the road. None of these people are responsible for Hitler. I mean, Hegel was a much closer intellectual godfather for Hitler. Peikoff's estimation, one of the reasons that this ended up replacing the world spirit with the German race. But don't worry, HBomberGuy, I know you haven't read the book, so I wouldn't expect you to address any of this. But I love this bit. Personally, if I were looking for a way of conflating Nazis and Antifa, I wouldn't cite books blaming my own personal politics on the Nazis. He seems to think that that Peikoff is asserting that classical liberalism is responsible for the Nazis. This is not, as far as I've read so far, I'm only 2/3 of the way through, mind you, but we seem to have moved on to other topics at this point, and Peikoff's made his general formulaic statements about what the Nazis were, how they believed what they believed, in his estimation. He in no way blames classical liberalism. In fact, he actually thinks that classical liberalism came from a different intellectual tradition, and I'm more inclined to agree with him. Certainly didn't come from what Peikoff calls the Platonic tradition, did it? But it doesn't matter, Harry, because you haven't read the fucking book. But what I love is I don't know who Ego Praxis is, but my god. He just sits there, him and Ray Ski sit there and have a nice long discussion about it. I'll leave a link in the description. You should read through it. It's very interesting. You know, it's above my pay grade. It's just amusing to me how you don't care. You don't care about honesty. You don't care about any of this discussion. You're looking desperately for a gotcha, and this is not it, I am afraid. I'm so sorry.